Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Coffee and Cannoli podcast, joined once again by the Putty Man off to my right. And once again, Campo is holding us up, on his shoulders. He's like
he's
the
on the
Atlas.
bottom.
He's like
He's
the
the
Atlas
bottom
of the
guy.
show, carrying us all the way
Uh-huh.
through to the end.
Don't make him feel good about it.
Got it.
Feel good either way.
Yeah,
Exactly,
So-
right?
This episode, we are talking strategy games, whether it be RTS, which is a real-time strategy game. For those who don't know,
Apparently.
what it is, an RTS is basically a game that both sides of the factions are moving in together, i.e., something like a Command and Conquer, which you might see on our list. And there's also turn-based strategy, which is the same type of idea, except the sides take turns in making their moves. Go ahead, Putty.
I was gonna say I look at RTS as like just push the autoplay, while a turn-based is you get to take turns backwards and forwards, moving one guy at a time.
Yeah, basically. So we're gonna start on the bottom today. Campo, you're gonna go with your first one.
All right. So, like I was telling you guys earlier, I made this list immediately when I found out what an RTS meant.
Because you literally just found out today.
I don't know how I've never heard that before, but it makes complete sense. Immediately made this list. I did zero internet research for this. I have 5 games and 2 honorable mentions. And let's just go PC, baby.
Yep.
Number 5, a little Steam game. A little crabby doodah of a game, but I could play this for, honest to God, weeks, months in the same game. Age of Civilizations 2.
Yeah, that is a very good game.
It's just a map. That's all the game
basically
is.
It
it's
is
literally just a map.
It is almost like it's basically Risk on PC.
Yes, it's basically a never-ending game of Risk
on the subway.
Yes.
Campo got that reference.
Seinfeld. Okay, let's get this going, Putty.
You're number 5.
All right, so when I made this, I realized when it came to RTS, I didn't play a lot of like the historical ones. I never played them at all, except one that's on my list, but it's not on the list and on mentions. So my number 5 is Capped, and I wanted. So I'm just I'll explain it real quick. My number 5 is Halo Wars and Star Wars Empire War. Now, Star Wars Empire War, I didn't play that long. That's why it's lower on my list. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I didn't play that much of it. Halo Wars, I actually played a lot of it. It's not the best out there. I know it isn't. But for some reason, I was in that Halo phase where there's a lot of Halo going on. So Halo Wars, I was like, oh my God, we get to finally like control them as like like an RTS, basically. It was so cool. And so that's the reason why it's lower on my list. But I had to give it some love. And so that would be my 2 caps. And
Halo Wars was at the time when we were saturated with a lot of Halo. There was Halo 3, Halo ODST, there was Halo Wars.
But I will say Halo Wars expanded that. Like, oh my God, that because I remember when I played Star Wars Empire War, it's because of my number 1, which I won't get to till later. And I found out also I didn't play a lot of the sequels of any of these RTSs. It's literally the original games I played. And I think it's because I played these and like the number 1 expanded it, but then I dropped off. And then when I heard Halo's getting RTS, it kind of sparked it again for me, but not enough for me to could keep going and play later games. So my list is kind of an odd mix because I know there's sequels that are better than the first ones, but I never.
But it's your favorite, so that's what matters.
It's not even matter that I only played these, so I want to be honest. I'm not going to sit there and say, "Oh, I like this one when I never played it." Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes total sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Age of Empires 2. It got a remake a few years ago, and I play it whenever I have like 6 to 10 hours to kill. I still play it on it's on Game Pass, and I'll still go back to it. And yeah, Age of Empires 2. I know 4 is out now, but 2 is still, like you said, Putty, it's still the one I go back to.
Yeah.
So mine is Age of Empires 2. Campo?
All right. So I have a question for you, JD. What's the opposite of a small box?
A big box.
A big box PC game, baby. Warcraft 3, every version of it.
Yes, all the expansions,
all of them.
Okay, so
My liege.
can I be
Okay,
the one to
sorry.
explain to these kids what a big box game is? Because it's so funny.
It's a large box
Yeah, it's literally what it is.
with a floppy
Like,
disk
back
in
in
it.
the day, you would get like a disc that would be
Depending
like
on how big the game was, you get 7 or 8 discs in there sometimes.
Like let's put it this way: floppy disk would be like 5 of this phone, all right? And you would get in a box that's bigger than a GameCube, not GameCube, a Wii. And so it's like, why were they giving us a huge? And sometimes the manual was
Those boxes are the size of a laptop.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, I was being a little bit more nice, but like you know, they were huge. It was hilarious when you get them, and you could. I remember you used to go to the store and you'd rattle it, and be like, "Can I hear the disc?"
Yeah,
that noise. I still have that noise in my head.
We still have a few of those too. We have like the original Tomb Raider ones, and like I have GTA for PC on like 4 CDs.
Listen, big box PC, baby. That's it.
All those Sierra games.
Sierra.
Am I the only one too that they had the boxes where they had the embedding where it was like bent inside so the disc wouldn't flip around, but those cardboards would never hold, so it'd still be like,
or they'd have the little flaps so it would lock in place.
They used to just give you a white paper envelope full of floppy disks.
Here you go, enjoy.
That was my Age of Empires copy. The first game, Age of Empires 1, was just a bunch of floppy disks in a paper envelope.
It's so good.
For those who don't know, a floppy disk is if you're using a Word or an Excel document, you know that little save icon? That's a floppy disk.
Yeah, I actually had somebody tell me, they go, I thought that was a door. And I'm like, what?
Hey, it's the door to my heart.
Showing
our age here. Putty.
It never works.
All right. My number 4, again, I'd never played the sequel, and now I only played the first one, and that's XCOM.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, it was one of those games again. I didn't put time into it.
Right.
3 to 1 would be the ones I did, but again, 4.
I mean,
yeah.
Now looking at this, I'm like, wait, is it me next, anyways?
That's me. Which I'm going to go with the same thing, except I'm going with the sequel. I'm going XCOM 2, which is a good example of turn-based strategy.
We're going the opposite way, Putty. Yeah. So what I was going to say is, maybe I should have Googled a bit. Like, I think my top 5 is going to be my top 5 no matter what. But XCOM, I forgot about XCOM. That would be a good to have on my honorable mentions.
I just never got to play the second one, so that's why I probably would have loved it if I did.
So I think I still have a Putty. Do you have a PC, Putty?
Well,
we'll email it to you.
I think I may have a Steam code for an extra copy of XCOM 2. I'll see if I can email it to you.
Okay, yeah, I would love to try it. Heck yeah.
Okay, so for my number 3, what's the opposite of a very small box?
A very big box.
A very big box PC game, baby. Starcraft.
Yes.
Only in Korean.
Yes. That little internet cafe at Bloor and Dovercourt.
Only in Korean, baby. If you're not playing with Koreans, you're not playing StarCraft.
Yeah. StarCraft. Oh, so good.
You'll be dead before you build one building. There will be an army coming at you.
StarCraft. Such a good game. Buddy.
Okay. So I actually went back to capping again. You had stated earlier about turn-based. These are actually the only 2 turn-based games I put on this list. One of them introduced me to the other one, and it's because I had one on PlayStation, then I had the one for Game Boy Advance, and then that introduced me to another game on Game Boy Advance that's turn-based, and that is Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem. I would have never been introduced to Fire Emblem if it wasn't for Final Fantasy Tactics. And the reason is I played the PlayStation version, then found out they had a Game Boy Advance version, and then I heard about Fire Emblem, and I'm like, what's Fire Emblem? And we didn't actually, I don't know which one I got, because I heard there's other ones that came in Japan.
If you're not playing Awakenings, Putty, you need to get on that, because that's a game right there.
I mean, I'm sure, but again,
and 3 Houses. The latest one is so good.
But I was introduced to the Game Boy Advanced one, and you know, again, if it wasn't for Final Fantasy Tactics, I would have never been on that road.
Well, Final Fantasy Tactics is a great game. They need to remake that.
Well, we discussed that in our PlayStation video, where we thought it was going to be Final Fantasy Tactics, and it was like they bait and switched us again.
They always do that.
Yeah, like we thought it was Dino Crisis, and then it's not.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to relive that. That was a sad. I freaked out for like a good minute on pause, and then press continue on the trailer, and it wasn't Dino Crisis, baby.
And then you had your heart ripped out.
That's the opposite of big box, baby.
Yeah. My number 3 is there's a bunch of games in this series, but this was a spin-off in the series, and I'm going with Sid Meier's Civilization Revolution.
Good game. Good game.
I played that one to no end. I believe it or not, I had it on the 360, and it played so well on the 360 that I sunk, I would say, a good 300 hours into that game. And if you chose Gandhi, it was so broken.
I heard about that. Yeah, because I heard about the, like, it's something where you turn back like his level from 1 to 0 to like 1,000
to negative 99.
Yeah, exactly. And it just
Yeah.
glitches the whole thing where he's like overpowered. Like
Yep.
oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
So shout out to
Gandhi.
Shout out to Gandhi, the most violent man
I
in the
knew
world.
that was coming.
No, but it was a little bit less serious. It was more cartoony. It was more, they tried to liven it up a little bit, and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And I played, like I said, these are games that I played a lot of. So yeah, gotta go with Civilization Revolution. Campo, you're number 2.
All right, well, we're gonna lower down the yelling a little bit here. And we're gonna talk big bad baby boxes, Command and Conquer, Red Alert 1 and 2. I'm capsing. Not the regular Command and Conquer, though also
The Red Alert.
Probably better, but Red Alert 1 and 2, because that's where this is the point where I discovered what RTS games was Red Alert. I saw someone playing it and I was like, what is that? Please.
Can I have some more of it?
Can I have some more, please? It was on PlayStation, on the original PlayStation. But I played it on PC. I just saw it on PlayStation. Okay, bye.
Bye. Putty, you're number 2.
Okay, so I'm actually struggling with this one. Here's the reason why. I played this because my friend introduced me to the tabletop game, and I was like painting the little figurines and loved it.
I know where
but
you're
here's
going with
the
this one.
problem. I don't know which one I played. When I found out we were doing this list, I was like, holy crap, which one did I play? Like, you know, you play your friend's game.
You probably played Total War.
That might have been, but you're probably it was Warhammer 40K or 40,000.
40K. It was probably Warhammer Total War.
I don't remember which one
because
it is.
that was
honestly.
the more.
Hey,
I think
who
that
cares?
Was
You played a good one.
Anything Warhammer,
God.
you're in good company there.
If it wasn't for my number 1 bringing me into RTS, I would have put this in number 1. My God, the Warhammer games are so amazing. It's mixing like old style. Like, I didn't like all those. What made me not go to RTS because Age of Empires, Civilization, all those like, oh, it's back in the past. What I felt Warhammer did is kind of mix that whole thing where it took like where you had like melee
the
weapons,
Space Marines
science
and stuff.
Yeah, it just did it so well. And it did it in a way that my number 1 didn't do it. And I would have got the number 1 spot. But come on, the number 1 spot for me actually won me to actually play my first RTS, which we'll get to. But yeah, anyway, number 2, Warhammer 40,000.
My number 2 is number 2 in the series, and that is Starcraft 2 and all the expansions, all the DLC that came along with it.
So mad myself for not playing that.
Starcraft 2 was and like you said, Campo, if you're not playing it with like Koreans halfway across the world, you're not playing it right.
Yeah, because you're not winning it. If you might as well. If you're gonna go out, you might as well go out that way.
Yeah. So Starcraft 2, it's I'll still like. On the battle.net, I'll still boot it up every now and then, still give it a good go. It's still one of my go-to games when I have a few hours to kill and I just want to like melt my brain. Starcraft 2 is my go-to. So, Campo, you're number 1.
All right, okay. For real, big baby Jesus. We're talking Age of Empires 2, the greatest RTS ever made. I played this game so much to the point that I would sneak out of my room and go in the basement and put like a blanket over like my chair and the TV. And like, your parents definitely think it's porn, baby, but it's Age of Empires. I'm talking little Dodge Vipers driving around when you can't win and you get upset, and you're busting out little robots with lasers because you're cheating because you're upset. Because those goddamn Mongolians beat you every time.
I remember the Dodge Viper code.
You keep picking the British because you want the archers, but then they can't do anything else. Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
But so good.
All right, I'm done.
Those cheat codes were the best, though. Just like the Cal level in Diablo 2.
Yeah.
Buddy, you're number 1, my friend.
Okay, so again, I wish I would have played the sequel because I heard it might even be better than the original. Wait, hold on. John, what's the opposite of little?
It's big,
big.
baby.
Big box PC game,
It's
baby.
StarCraft #1. It is the original StarCraft.
Yeah, I have #1 on my list too.
Yeah.
Frig
Yeah.
#2, baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, here's my thing. That was what introduced me to RTS. I didn't know that world existed. I remember distinctly my friends playing it, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And when he was sitting there, I was like, "You're not controlling anything." And he's like, he was setting things up. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, farming things. I'm like, "What the hell is this?" Like, I thought maybe think of Sim City, but he's like, "No, this ain't no Sim City. Believe me, you're gonna love this." And he sat me down. Out of all these games, the time I put into StarCraft would be like what I put into KOTOR. Like the hours I put into StarCraft.
You need more pylons to build.
Oh my
Yes.
god. That's the point of the whole thing. Warhammer, the Halo Wars. Like I would have never played Halo Wars probably because I was like, oh, it was one of those things that I didn't understand. But because I played StarCraft, when Halo Wars was announced, I'm like, oh, is this like Halo with StarCraft? I was like, I compared everything. Every game that's RTS, I say it's StarCraft with, Warhammer characters, or you know what I mean? That's what I did. And I know World of Warcraft or Warcraft did all that, but for some reason StarCraft was, I know it was in the same realm, but again, StarCraft was just so, anyway.
Basically, StarCraft catered to more the sci-fi crowd, where Warcraft would be to the more fantasy crowd.
Exactly.
Like and Age of Empires was for weirdos.
But that's why I like Warhammer, because it felt like it was going between.
And that's why you and I both have it on our list. My #1 was Campo's #2, and that's Command and Conquer Red Alert 2. Oh my god, this game. That's another one I sunk so many hours. The FMV scenes in this game were like well acted. You had the likes of, who I think was it Billy
Tim
D.
Curry's
Williams?
in one of them.
Tim Curry, Billy D. Williams. I can't remember if it was I think Michael Ironside was in it too.
Yeah,
Michael Ironside was in the other Command and Conquer.
Oh man, I remember those. I completely forgot about that until you just said it.
Yeah, and it was like fully acted, and you're talking Tim Curry at his full Tim Curryest.
I'm kind of now mad I didn't play
Like,
that.
You know what though? But like, it's the gameplay of Command and Conquer gave you something that you weren't getting anywhere else, because everything was kind of sword and shieldy, bow and arrowy.
Yes.
It was like guns and tanks.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why the good
military.
Thing when you
it's
have
a military strategy.
StarCraft is the only one that's different than that. But
that's the reason I want to go ahead and mention that is my top I'll mention, but it's not Red Alert. I never got to play Red Alert. It was just the original Command and Conquer.
The original Command and Conquer is the highest rated one.
Tiberium Wars?
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
But the reason it didn't make my list is because I just didn't want the war and fantasy, and I wasn't really into it back then. Like, I did play Command and Conquer, but it's because of StarCraft, you know what I mean? And when I went back to play it, I was like, I thought it's cool, but I mean, it just didn't have the feel I wanted like I got in StarCraft. Because you'll notice every single game I put on my list all had a sci-fi feel. I love the way sci-fi more was. The only thing that was close to Empires was actually the Star Wars version, and I never realized that until later when I played it. I'm like, oh, this is like Age of Empire, and I never realized. And I think it's made by the same company too, isn't it?
Yeah,
Empire of the Empire at War. Yeah, I think it's the same one. So yeah, Command and Conquer. I didn't even jump in and take it from you, but yeah. Command and Conquer was good.
We both took it from him.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You gotta throw that in.
We
there.
stole your thunder.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, all our lists were like, they varied, but they were all very good. Like, I mean, these are like, and all the games that we mentioned are like classic strategy games.
I still play Age of Empires 2 now. I have it on my computer at home.
Like,
and I still get angry and then start taking out Vipers.
Dodge Vipers.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is. You got, what is it? You got to get that. Was it the Bear Army too?
Oh, there's so many cool things you could do in that game with the cheat codes.
I think there's an army of penguins.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe
the best one is the robots.
Oh,
you
the
bust
robots
out the robots and they just shoot lasers and they kill everything.
Yeah, that's when you get frustrated, and you got.
It always happens because there's something about Age of Empires. Even if you like, I usually play on like, I don't know what the modes are, but not the easy one.
Yeah.
But
I usually
even
go
if
the
you
middle.
play on easy,
it's still hard.
If you let the game go for too long, which I always do because I like to level up everything to like my highest levels. Like I like to have I have like a completionist thing where I need to have one of every single base and unit. But by the time I build up my army, the armies coming at me are so massive that it's like literally I can't do anything. And I always pick the British because I want the goddamn longbowmen, but then they're so easy to get killed. Oh, I hate it.
Because the longbowman can only do one thing. You need an infantry.
I know, but it's good for distance because if anything coming towards you, they shoot so fast that you can take out like a whole thing quickly.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to destroy a base,
no.
Well, they can rebuild their army so fast, and you're just there shooting bows at nothing, and it's like, oh. Crap.
Petty humans on the ground. You need to keep it in space. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is anyhow.
All right. Anybody got any honorable mentions?
I do.
I only have one more.
Okay, go, Putty. You say yours.
Yeah. Okay, so my only one is because I didn't know if I actually played it, so maybe you guys can refresh my memory. But there was another Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, and I don't know.
Played it.
I don't know if I just confused it with Empire Wars. So I decided to put my honorable mentions just so I don't feel like an idiot.
No, I think was it Galaxy, Star Wars Galaxies?
You think it was Galaxies?
There was an Star Wars Galaxies might have been the one.
Okay.
But there was a couple Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah, because the problem is I when it comes to my RTS like selections or my top paths outside of Starcraft and of course the tactics and Fire Emblem, which are on a different realm, I'll say.
Yeah.
The other ones were those kind of things where I didn't beat them. It was just more I was absorbed in them. If that makes sense. Where I was just constant, like even if I was like my whole squad or my whole army would be destroyed, I'm like, let's just do it again. You know what I mean? I kept on doing that with Starcraft. That was one of those ones like, oh no, I got to do everything I can in this. You know what I mean?
You got to keep farming in that game. Just keep farming. Or just kind of like the Command and Conquer. You got to keep farming that Tiberium.
Oh, buddy, if you're not like going hard on gas in StarCraft, if you're not farming that, you're going down.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing you wanted to do is literally have multiple of them do. You constantly
kind of like society now where gas is $2 a liter here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, but Campo, let's get some of your honorable mentions.
Company of Heroes.
You just took the words right out of my mouth too. Company of Heroes.
Great game. Putty, you would like that.
But
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So since you took my Company of Heroes, I am going to go with a very little known game on the Sega Saturn made by Working Designs, was called Iron Storm.
Never even heard of it.
Oh, I've seen that before. I didn't actually play it. Actually, wait a second. Doesn't the cover not really represent what the game is?
Basically, it's a bunch of tanks.
Yeah, I remember that game, and I was like, "That's not an RTS." Like now, I'm saying it, but I'm like, "That's not an RTS." That did not look like an RTS when I saw it in stores. So,
but it was.
It's so funny that you say that because you know how when you see something, you go, "Oh," and then you look on the back, and you're like, "What the hell is this?" And you put it back. I did not know it was RTS. I just saw a bunch of tanks on the screen, like they were so small. I was like,
yeah,
I want to drive a tank. Like it was something weird that I just didn't look right to me. So it's funny you say that because I've heard of it.
Yeah. So Iron Storm, it's basically during World War II, you can choose the Allied forces or you can choose the other guys, I guess. I don't know, but
the other
guys. But yeah, so it's like and basically it's an RTS with tanks. And you have to set basically what's that stupid mobile game, Tank Wars or whatever it is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We're not advertising for them guys.
Doesn't Tank Wars actually put you in the seat of the tanks?
Yeah, but this did it. But there are so many different tanks. So if you're a tank enthusiast, you would love this game.
Well, I was just hoping to drive a tank, like actually be in a tank. And when I saw that,
was that Xbox game?
Yeah, I played the Xbox game where it came with all the pedals and stuff.
Mobilist? No, was it?
I don't even remember. I just remember it was like the biggest thing ever.
It was like $300.
Freaking out.
Oh, yeah. But no, wasn't a Mobile Suit Gundam game? Like you had
no. This was I think
it had a bunch of levers and everything.
I want to say Mech Assault, but it was not Mech Assault.
It was not Mech Assault.
But it was like tank, something assault.
Yeah.
And it literally came with these 3 components that you would have to attach together, like all with working knobs and levers and floor pedals too. So you have to control the tank, guide it with your feet, like accelerate, brake. Like there's like 4
and it was like Xbox's like claim to fame. They were like, this is what the 360's for.
Was it even in?
I think it was 360.
I think it was on the original.
It might have been.
But yeah, I mean, because it was like really out there at the time. Like,
are you talking about the 2 console generations or like peripherals? They're the future.
Yeah.
We just forget about peripherals. All right, here we go. Rome, Total War.
That was
Back to you.
Took it right. Sid Meier's Pirates.
Ooh, all
I'm
right.
so mad I didn't get to play that one. I
That's
wanted to play
actually
that.
good. That's actually good, and that's hop onable still, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
Yeah,
still available.
I might hop on that actually. Yeah, Putty. So I didn't have this on my list, but Putty kept saying Star Wars, and I was like, "Yo, f that, buddy." Star Trek Armada,
Yes.
Star Trek Legacy, all of them. They were all good. Every Star Trek RTS was good.
Because
guess
Star
if you
Trek
get the
lends
Command
itself
Enterprise.
so well to that genre.
Yes, it's more of
Yeah.
a world where Star Wars is more about those characters, specific characters, where Star Trek is about like
Yeah.
the entire universe of things.
And the whole politics behind it. And
Yeah.
like
I could see why it would work that way. Again, Star
Yeah.
Wars, I just would love to see the
No,
big characters.
that's a good game actually. The
Yeah,
one
yeah,
you
yeah.
said that was on your list is actually a
Empire
good game.
War. Yeah.
I got no more. That was
I-
well, you know what? Let's throw one last one out
Go
there, and is more of a silly one, but Plants vs. Zombies.
that's a good game.
Is that really? I mean, was that
That's an
really
RTS.
I never. I
Technically.
know. I would have
It's an
put it in my
RTS,
mentions.
kind of like, I would say it's more RTS meets tower defense.
Yes, it's kind of
see,
tower
that's-
defense.
I was thinking more tower defense.
But actually, the South Park RTS tower defense game that was on Xbox 360, I don't remember what it was called. That was actually pretty good. If no one's ever played that, I don't even know if you could
delisted,
get it.
but yeah.
Well, there's a lot
I'm
of-
pretty sure it's delisted.
a lot of people missed out on. They're not the best, but a lot of South Park games that weren't too bad. Like when they were just throwing them to different companies. Like again, I'm not.
Like
I'm
Chef's
one of the
Love
birds.
Shack.
Oh my god, I love Chef Love Shack. Oh my god, I love that.
I
game.
love South Park Racing.
Yeah.
that
Well,
was
even
fun
the South
too.
Park, even the first person shooter, the FPS.
No.
No, we
Oh,
won't
come
talk
on.
about
No.
I loved it. Me and my friends would play just like
The N64 one?
yeah,
that.
because
With the goddamn turkeys.
yes. Just think about it. All you had was GoldenEye. It was a nice change of pace and it was silly and
Yeah, okay. I obviously played it. Come on.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, you know.
The golden snowballs.
Well, yeah.
You would have put a zipper on your mouth. I'm just
Yeah, it's a
confused.
zipper, okay? We would smoke up and
But he had his his fair share of golden snowballs.
Oh, you suck.
On that note, guys, let us know what your favorite RTS or turn-based strategy game is in the comments. For those who've never played it, go out and experience it. I highly suggest Campo's number one, Age of Empires 2. Go check that out. It's super cheap on game. You can play it for free on Game Pass. So I definitely suggest you go check that out. You can find all their stuff in the description down below. And on that note, everyone, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.